Beneath the surface of Azeroth, the drums of war thunder once again. Why is it so quiet? Whoa. Get more shots of this. What the fuck? They're giving us a lot of shots of that. That's a big forge. Oh boy. Holy fuck. That is quite a foundry. Huh. Whoa. Well, that's different. That wasn't like that before. Her eye wasn't like glowing like that before. Is that suspended on hooks? What is that? What is that, a fucking piece of Yasharaj? What is that? Whoa. Oh, holy fuck. Oh my god. What are these shots, dude? I was not expecting some of these. Holy shit. It's an interesting thing, those rotating things around her head. Oh shit, chat. We're less than a month away, dude. I'm fucking excited. I'm fucking excited. Okay, so there's no more. Okay, let's go back and like, let's slow this down. The Rubian, dude. Oh. There's no way they made all these just a ton of teaser shots. All those have to be part of bigger cinematics, right? Do you guys remember the cinematics that we got in BFA? We got a lot of them. And they were all part of a series. So I would not be surprised if these are all snippets of larger cinematics. So this here, the four-legged kind of walking around is very interesting. Obviously, the roots seemingly animated with what I came to the conclusion of was perhaps some kind of spirit energy. Now, I don't know if these spines growing out of her head are actually growing out of her head, but it sure looks like that this thing is a derivative of a Nerubian. And I have a theory that elves, not only as we know, were derived from trolls, but that trolls may have come from Nerubians. And so the more that they show us this thing, whatever she is, the more I'm kind of believing that that might actually be true. Look at her head. The way she moves. It's such good animation, dude. It's so good. Wow. The green eyes. Okay, so green obviously is like two different things in this game. It's either nature and life, or nature, really, or it's fel. And I'm just going to say it. While there's no indication of fel or anything like that, it definitely looks more fel green to me. I don't know why. Maybe this is an ancient race that like worshipped Yasharaj or something like that. Because we've seen Yasharaj, remember? And Yasharaj looks almost like well, it almost looks like there's like fel or something coming out of his head or something. I don't know what Yasharaj's exact power is. Spirit, maybe? And so perhaps this this being knows how to manipulate spirit as a result of the connection previously with Yasharaj.
Hey.
I could maybe fuck with that. But the light in it goes almost more from like I think it's the same color technically, but it goes from like a dimmer green Yeah, the energy moving through it is definitely gives like pure spirit energy vibes, I think. And the fact that it's like a living, like think about, oh my God, am I gonna, this bed, they better not bring, could you imagine if we got a spore mound? Could you imagine if we got an old god versus spore mound battle? Could you imagine if they pitted a fucking old god against a fucking spore mound? Dude, we get to see Spirit and Decay fight. Dude, that would be sick. That'd be fucking sick, dude. Plants versus Zombies, bro? In Azeroth? Why not? The Ringing Deeps already have fucking Genosaur walking around, which are derivatives of spore mounds. How the fuck did those get there? So if that's the case, then maybe there could be even a spore mound growing down there. And maybe this is something connected to it, because I'm going to say it right now. This type of, if this energy permeated through like everything and caused like an interconnectivity of all of the life down there, then that's basically a spore mound. Jeez, kind of scary looking. Gotta have enhanced bitrate. Otherwise, we have to watch it at shitty quality. You get to see this energy spread through her. So it starts like with her cheeks. And it starts really around the eyes, is really where it looks like it starts. The chin, too, I guess. Right around here. Spreads up through her face, through her veins and her chest, down through her body. This looks like a spirit suffusion or something. But it's not as pretty as modern druidism. It's not as this seems a little more tribal, you know? Like more primitive. And I don't mean that in a bad way. It almost looks like chakra. What's the paint made of? Well, that's what I'm wondering is it paint on her body that's being illuminated? Or is it this almost like, I don't know if she's already painted or not. And it might be just illuminating the paint. Maybe that's what's happening. I can kind of see marks of it there, but it's kind of hard to see. Because she was painted in the first shot, but it almost looks like that shot was after this, because her forehead's already lit up. Mycelium paint? You think it's mushroom paint? Do you think it's bioluminescent fungi paint? Making good mojo. And the dance is obviously very ritualistic. Not that druidism isn't frankly ritualistic, but I don't think it's often perceived as ritualistic as it is. Like that's something that you would never see a modern druid do. Wow, look at the back claw on the foot. Wow. They've still got it. That's wild. In trolls have something similar, but they don't have an actual claw. I don't think it's more like just a heel. So at this stage, she still has it. That's remarkable. She's got big hair, too. I'm just going to say it. One of the only other characters in the game that's got hair that big is this chick. She's got big hair. And she's also directly connected with fucking, you know, nature and shit. And she's golden, by the way. But anyway. Are those quills or roots coming from her hair? They look like quills to me. Is it part of real life voodoo? She looks like a twister god. Magic almost looks like a combination of life and death magic. Maybe she's drawing from the roots of a Mirdrasil. Yeah, this like dance is so interesting to me. Now, one thing they do show, just a blip here, when she flips, is there are blue glowing mushrooms up here on this big root. And so perhaps these roots from this world tree carry within them some kind of substance. Maybe it's something akin to Kyperite or something that we got from Kipari trees or whatever in Mists of Pandaria. There's some kind of energy probably, maybe just raw spirit energy flowing through this tree. And so, yeah, there's a possibility, like you said, that maybe mushrooms were used for the paint and stuff like that. I think mushrooms growing off of the roots of the tree would make sense. But it's a lot more blue here, which I really feel like is an indication of spirit bordering on, like, death magic, you know? Like, this almost seems like bordering on, like, Drust magic, but leaning more towards nature still. I think. Yeah, the ears look very bat-like. And so maybe some of the OG Loa or old way troll Loa, as it were bats, spiders, you know, the ones that don't have a place at the Pantheon inside of Zuldazar. Remember those ones? The ones that were all corrupted by the blood god and found their way to the Maw? Maybe it has to do with them. The old blood sacrificial Loa, the things that are more connected to the older troll stuff, the old ways, as it were. The ones that all got killed in BFA. Yep. Yep. Spiders, bats, snakes, serpents, anything like that. It's all evil, right? It's all bad for you, obviously. Yeah, you guys know that inside of Zuldazar that none of those Loa have like an altar for worship? In terms of like inside the sanctum of the Loa, that those Loa were just like rejected. Like, yeah, it's not good. Ardenweald connection. Sentient mushrooms were the original inhabitants of Ardenweald. I think it'd be really cool to find out that certain races actually came from different realms entirely. Like, what if you found out that trolls actually came from Ardenweald or, like, from the Emerald Dream or something like that? And that, like, Earthen actually came from, like, the plane of, the elemental plane of Earth or something like that. That, like, some of these races that we think came from certain places are originally actually from, like, totally different places, like, in the cosmos. That'd be interesting to find out, but there's no proof of that. The color of the magic as well it's important, but also, you know, there are leaves and stuff flowing through it. These almost look like upside down scythes. But the way they're kind of bouncing off the ground, I think is pretty fascinating. And I wonder what he's forging here. This looks like a real big ingot. Something real big. That's my pleasure, Luna Palace. Thanks for the kind words. Did you see the slag? The fucking slag. I love the slag. It's so good. I'm so impressed. I don't know why, but I love the concept of a long-lost human civilization if they do it right. Yeah, I mean, I do think that look, pretty sure that there were humans that existed before the Titans came. And that they've done a pretty good job at convincing you that you only exist because of their influence and interference, but I don't think that's true. I think humans existed before. Now, what were they? They were probably considered a lesser race and a sacrificial offering, more than likely. So back in the days when the Klaxi and the Nerubians and the Karaji and the Akir ran this shit, they probably looked at us and Yongal and other lesser races and were like, yeah, that's a good sacrifice. And then as time passed, it started to become apparent to them that perhaps some of these lesser races are capable of higher thought and communication, right? So you had a time period where like you had peoples in a massive empires like Ajakir that existed, that even included races like the Tol'vir, which people don't realize yet still, but I'm going to state it as factual because it is a fucking fact. The Tol'vir are not a Titan-forged race, and that's a fucking lie. The Tol'vir are an ancient Black Empire race that used to be part of Ajakir. So let that sink in. The Tol'vir are not Titan-made. That's a fucking lie. With that being said, there's this huge ancient empire existing of these different beings who worship the old gods, and then you have these lesser races. And so I think, primitive humans were probably considered among that lesser race. Here's another reason why I think that. If you guys look at the Black Empire, it's very clear that their architecture is based off of ancient Sumer. Sumer is famously known for it being one of the potential roots of civilization, and by that I mean one of the very first, if not the first instance where we had recorded language, history, we started building a society, we started interacting with each other. Cuneiform scripture, right? Cuneiform scripture essentially is an ancient form of writing that's similar to glyphs and hieroglyphs and things that you might find in Egypt and share origins, of course. But it's essentially what I think is that the Black Empire is depicted this way because what it's trying to express to you is that humanity and flesh as a whole actually did arise out of the Black Empire. And the fact that the Titans try to say that our condition, our flesh, is a curse given to us by these malignant, unholy beings called the Old Gods, I think it's a pretty fair assertion to make that that's not entirely the truth. And that, like, they would prefer that we believe that the Old Gods are terrible, horrible creatures when the reality of the situation is that our potential free will stems from the Old Gods. And, like, that's pretty remarkable when you consider that the Titans' primary goal seems to be absolute control. That's why they don't like the Old Gods, because they directly go against what the Titans are attempting to assert, right? And so in this way, that's why you have the ancient Klaxis saying, like, your gods are not our gods, outsider, just so you know. Like, if they come back, we will stand with them. And, the Deathwing says similar shit of, like, yeah, the Titans came to this world and fucking changed it all. They usurped it and fucking tried to say that it was themselves and make themselves sound so grandiose and so cool, but that's not really what they are. So yeah, that's kind of my thought process on that as far as why I think ancient humanity and ancient non-bestial races came from, and even bestial races came from the Black Empire. I do think that times were much different, and I'm going to be honest, I'm not so sure that the old gods were the end-all be-all for worship, even in the Black Empire. Black Empire stuff does tend to sometimes showcase suns and moons etched upon them, and so I do think that there is a very reasonable possibility that the sun and moon were in some fashion around during the time of the Black Empire. And if it was, then as Odin kind of lets loose in his edicts of the Prime Designate, perhaps the Black Empire was not a time of strife and suffering. Perhaps it was actually a time of great unity and great progress and great technological marvel and like great societal growth. I don't know, but the thing is that I just I like to believe that there was. I lean more towards like being a naturalist, okay, and I just think that what was here before naturally could or could still not be kind of the lesser of two evils or the better option, so to speak. It's like what at the end of the day, like what's worse, being sacrificed unwillingly to a deity because you're considered not to have high enough forms of thinking, or to be sacrificed in a massive trigger of re-origination because the Titans deemed you not worthy. Like, what's worse? Like, they're both pretty shitty, So yeah. They're both pretty shitty. Yeah. Oh, I like that too, dude. The red and the gold. And obviously she's commanding the roots here. Yeah, I mean, this is even looks like it has like separate little fingers and stuff. Yeah, her torch shield is fucking sick. That's cool. Now that I wasn't expecting. I wasn't expecting the eye to glow like that. A couple different interpretations for this, I guess. You could look at it as like, she's obviously blind in that eye. It could be an implication that she's blinded by the light. Could be an indication that the light is allowing her to see. Or perhaps because her eye is no longer functioning, this is like serving as like a window to the soul. That you're basically, through this eye that's not serving any other purpose, it's basically like projecting what's going on inside of her. I like the fire on her, though. It's crazy that they're connecting fire and light. Who would have thought? Because that's never been done before, right? And rubies as well. So that's quite a thing, huh? It almost, to me, it almost looks like a shoulder that got, like, ripped off. Like a big tentacle. It also looks like it's flayed up the middle, which is like, ugh. It's hanging on chains, which leads me to believe that this is part of a being and not the whole thing. And that this is probably used in some kind of resurrection or something like that. It looks reddish and gray. It looks kind of like the colors of Gahoon. There's definitely purple in there, though, too. It's kind of hard to tell with the lighting. But it's, like, strung up. Ugh. It's so weird. And what's this? Is that black blood? Is that old god black blood in there? Sure is. Sure is. Sure is. You have these baubles. Oh, it's hanging on like a spider web. Rips it off. Did they... Wait. Are they bleeding it out so that they can use it to, like, ascend themselves or something? Or are they going to use the blood for the resurrection? Couple drops. That's wild, bro. I was not expecting a fucking Nerubian in full-blown HD like that. That's crazy. That's so wicked. It's the first time ever. Dude. Yeah, interesting. me see that again. Huh. The movement, do you see that? I'm looking at her eyes. It almost looks like for like a, and maybe they're just really good at animating eyes and I just don't know how they work. But it really looks like for a second that when they cross in front of her eyes, they're almost like getting stuck. As these balls of light are spinning around her. I'm just reminded of something I've seen in Outer Wilds that has to do directly with black holes. Where the object appears on the other end before it disappears from the front end. Effectively time traveling. Or it appears before the other one leaves. And just the way that the light moves around the center of her eye just reminds me of this. Especially at full speed, it's more noticeable. That's so weird to me, dude. It could mean nothing. But the way that it moves when it crosses her iris is so fucking weird to me. Like stuck. And then you can see it move off the peripheral before it leaves her eye, which probably means nothing. But man, if this doesn't remind me of black holes, I don't know what does, dude. The dark pits in her eyes literally being black holes as a void-related entity would be sick. It almost looks like it warps. Yeah. Like it got close to it and then like shot off of it or something, you know? From chat? I don't know. So what is this? What is this? Because that's not... That's not what's in the cinematic. I know it looks like it. What is this? Concept art from the collector's edition book. Does it have anything written about it? There's no description. The claw from which the dagger was formed was from an old god. That's speculation. You guys know we don't know where the dagger came from, right? We don't really know. That everything that we know about it is theory. Yeah, we don't really know any of those things. We don't know for sure. And her hidden appearance, I think, is Claw of N'Zoth, right? For the artifact weapon. So one thing that people don't know, which I'll just kind of point out here, there's a trinket in the game called Black Blood of Yasharaj. It drops from a Garrosh Hellscream. And when it procs, it has an equip. You don't know what it says? First off, here's the spell icon for it. Second of all, when it procs, It has a chance to trigger Wrath of the Dark Spear, which increases your intellect every 10 seconds. Let me just watch it all again. It's interesting that they show the earthen here with fingernails, why Koronos and DF Cinematic didn't have them. It's almost like it was on purpose to show differences between them. The smell in this room must be heavenly. Oh, yeah. So this person's an alchemist, obviously. So they're doing old god blood alchemy. That's pretty exciting. And we know that Xalatath wants the blood of the old gods. It's like her plot, but we don't really know why. Presumably for a resurrection or an empowerment or something. There is a chance that Xalatath is just a part of the others as well. Or that the old gods were sent more directly by her. The whole serving Dementius thing is just like so fucking... Ugh. I think it'd be cooler if Xalatath just was the Void Lord. And that Dementius and all that stuff is like not what we thought it was, but I don't know. That'd be cool if Zal was a Void Lord, but... Also, she's got red hair. The hair on her is all, like, red. It's also, what's more interesting to me than the earthen having fingernails is that it has a beard. I mean, the Titans have beards, I guess. But the beard looks like copper. You think it's like copper wire? Looks pretty orange. Beards made of wires. Earthen beards are made of copper wire. What power side do earthen represent? The Titans. Order. Typically. You know what this reminds me of? Kind of reminds me a little bit of the Black Empire. I'm just saying, bro. I'm just saying, dude. It just kind of reminds me of it a little bit. But it doesn't mean shit. It just reminds me of it. The rivers of lava and stuff. I think it's cool. Also, this room gives me kind of like Nyalotha vibes in terms of like the big monolithic columns. Yeah, I have the observational report in the game. I've read it all. You think the whispers have a meaning in this setting or just to set the scene? I mean, it's old god stuff. Same feel. Yeah, the floor as well. God, it's such a big city, dude. And that's pretty fascinating. Big spider web, spiders lay eggs. I wonder if there's some in that egg up there. Or if it's like a piece of technology used to like it's like an incubation chamber. Looks like a giant spider ass, kind of does, yeah. These were like the legs and the body and stuff. I don't know, it's fucking scary looking. I don't like it. I like that shot a lot. Honestly, that shot's honestly maybe one of my favorites from the whole thing. That was sick. I mean, I think it's really good. I'm pretty excited. I was not expecting some of that shit. I was not expecting some of those shots. I mean, what do you expect at this point? From this shit. I mean, I'm just pretty excited, dude. We got T-minus fucking 27 days or some shit till we get to play this. What the fuck?